right, here we are.
We are back. Episode 11.
Episode 11. I cannot believe it. And our title is
I'm all over the place. I'm so excited about this one.
Oh, yeah. So we're going to be talking about adult ADHD.
Yes.
And so you have two people showing up with various forms of ADHD.
Yes.
And so I'm pretty classical ADHD. I am inattentive, I am hyperactive, and I am distractible, right? And so mine started in childhood. And while I didn't bounce off the walls, I was always touching everything, and I know I still touch.
You touch everything and everybody.
I do.
Not inappropriately,
but if I always want to feel it. Honestly, yes,
you also
I do.
like to know how things smell.
I like to know how things smell. Honestly, I'd probably lick more things if that wasn't inappropriate, right? So
all the senses.
All the senses.
Yeah, we're so different in this way, but you do have the classic things.
I do in many ways. I was never a bounce off the walls, but I was constantly touching everything and in trouble for touching everything.
Yeah.
And I had real difficulty testing, and I remember in fourth grade getting testing, and that's a pretty big deal to be a fourth grader in a military family. As a Gen Xer, actually getting some testing.
Right.
And the testing came back that I was reading and comprehending on a second year college level.
I'm not surprised by that.
No, but I couldn't pass tests. I couldn't function. And I have had that consistent incongruency academically really until I got to college. And sometimes I wonder how I got into college, but I got into college. And then because of the structure, it worked for me to really be able to excel. And I learned about myself. But I'm real typical. And I come from a family of people who are all the same. And so we've all got similar variations of this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, and then I had a child. I married someone with ADHD. I had a child with ADHD.
Keeping the love going.
It is. Yeah. It is in my life, and it surrounds every part of.
And was there conversation in your family about, we all share this, or no?
Well, not until later.
Awareness?
Really growing up, there was no acknowledgement. It was a dysfunction, right? There's something wrong with me that I'm testing, right? I mean, the belief was I tested here, I perform here, I'm lazy.
And so many people with ADD get that message.
I'm lazy.
Yeah.
There's something wrong with me.
Try harder, just focus more. Right.
Yes. And that's certainly didn't work for me. And I mean, I could talk about symptoms all day because I have so many of the traditional and non-traditional symptoms. How'd you get to your diagnosis?
Very late in life. I remember one time, we've known each other a very long time, and you have this really funny, almost squint when you're realizing I know you're editing your question to me or to other people, where you're like, and you stutter a little because you're like, you don't know that you're ADD? Right? Just something. And it was such an aha moment, because in my mind, ADD looked this way. And it's different for boys and girls. I think I pictured growing up hearing the boy definition, how it manifests in boys. And for me, there was so much trauma mixed in for me growing up for a long time that was much more pervasive in the presentation for me, because I didn't have trouble. School to me was such a safe haven and a way when I was young, elementary school, and it was away from chaos. So I loved being in class, and I had no problem paying attention in class. It wasn't a struggle. I didn't struggle with tests or homework. I was always an A student, and I wasn't hyper. I was depressed. And, I had the other things, but it was also, I was in survival mode. And so it was constant busyness of people pleasing and how do I stay safe. And so I always had it attached, the meaning attached to my trauma and my reactions when I was older looking back. And then we can talk about it later, I think. But, as I got older and more healed, things started shifting. And I didn't know what was going on with me because I felt a little safer, but ooh, I'm functioning in very strange ways that seemed so different when I was a kid. Does that make sense?
It does. It makes great sense. It does. And I think that the uniqueness of ADHD, they always say it's not a disorder of not knowing. It's a disorder of not doing what you know, right? And so it's this idea that ADHD people, we know when we have or haven't done what we should or shouldn't have done.
Yes.
And we are our own worst enemy. We criticize ourselves. And it's like, I can't tell you how many times I'm like, I'm giving up sugar. And then I'm, I have the chocolate in my, as it's in my, and oh yeah, I forgot. Oh, I forgot. Oh, I forgot. And it's that, but I remember for you, you could not be on time to save your life.
That's not
for years and years. It's not now, but it was for years and years and years.
Right. Yes.
So I'm the opposite kind of ADHD. I am the ADHD that is so worried that my alarm might not go off. So I watch it all night long to see. And if I have to be somewhere, right, it's not every day thing, but if I have to go give a presentation or be somewhere.
You're the most chronic early person
I am.
ever known.
And I don't even tell people because I'm so embarrassed because I recognize that it's part of it's how I've coped. I will get there an hour or two beforehand and sit in the parking lot and review or work.
Or just if you don't know where you're going.
If I don't know where I'm going, it's even worse. Yeah. And so I'll drive the day before if it's close. I mean, I
will too. I'll rehearse it. I want to make sure because the anxiety I have is awful.
Right. And that is, so I am the chronically early ADHDer who worries about it. And then there are the people who have time blindness. I gave birth to a child who has time blindness. Yes. And so
can you explain time blindness a little bit?
So time blindness is that there is no connection to, you have 15 minutes. And then that 15 minutes is absorbed into 30 minutes and they don't recognize how much time has gone by because they're hyper-focused on or disappeared down a rabbit hole of this thing and they don't recognize that time is going by.
Yeah. And I'm so opposite of that. I can't relate to it because I'm so conscious. Okay, we have 15 minutes, 10 minutes, and I don't trust my ability to get things done in that time. So especially if it's something important and I need to be on time, that's not an enjoyable process.
Well, and here's the thing. There are some people who live in both worlds. And so, I know that I'm always going to chronically be early and some people know they're always going to chronically be late, but it's also ADHD to have both of those
I
be
think
part
I
of
have
who
both
you
of
are.
that because if I'm playing my guitar and working on a new song, and I'm also an optimist, and I heard that sometimes optimists also thrown in that everything's going to go right and I'm going to get there in plenty of time. Oh, I can do this and I can do that and fit it all in. And then all of a sudden I'm like, what was I thinking? I can't get there on time. Oh, that's exhausting.
It is exhausting. And so we'll talk about some of that, but it's important to recognize that there are so many of us with so many of these symptoms, right? I call them the ADHD tax, right?
I like that.
We hear that all the time. And so how often do I have to rewash the clothes in the washing machine because I forgot and then I don't want them to smell that?
I literally just realized when you said that. Yes, that's going to be me tonight.
Yep. And so or buy something because I can't find that thing that I bought, or chronically cleaning out your closet. You pull everything out. You run out of time and push everything back in. So you have to pull everything back out.
There's so many things. Cooking a new recipe. You're at the store. You have no idea what spices you have or what type of cheese. So you're just going to buy extra. I have a really bad thing right now. This episode could be 6 hours. I'm just letting you know that I have so many things that I should have returned to Amazon that are like in my cart that now I can't do it.
Right.
I mean, at least 6.
Yep.
And just I forgot to get to it and I didn't. And it's so easy to do and I have not. And I have so much lost money in my car because of that. And then I get really frustrated with myself.
Right.
I'm really frustrated.
Well, and we are our worst enemy, right, about all of this because, again, rejection sensitivity is a really common experience for ADHD people, right? That if we're not invited or somebody looks at us funny, we internalize that as...
That's an ADHD symptom. That's funny. I feel like it's a trauma response. Well, it can be that as well. There's crossover symptoms with a lot of different states too.
I'm so glad you said that, because it goes back to
I'm glad you didn't reject it.
It's nervous system regulation.
It is, yes. And the cause could be so many different things.
But yeah. So neurodivergent, right? Wherever you are on that spectrum, and now neurodivergence includes ADHD, autism, learning disabilities.
Right.
I mean, people have included all sorts of things in that.
Yeah.
Rejection sensitivity, demand avoidance, all of those are things that many of us have experienced all of our life.
Yes.
Right? And now they're being, well, that's why no matter how great you are doing, you continue to internalize that people must not like you, or they must, they're excluding you because you're not worthy, or
you're too much, all those things.
All those things we've talked about.
Yeah.
And but isn't it wonderful when we know that exists as a symptom, because then we can change how we respond to it. Oh, there's my rejection sensitivity.
Right. When you name it, it takes away some of the power. It normalizes it. And then you know what to do, especially if you know how to regulate your nervous system.
Let's talk about demand avoidance. This is a big one. Demand avoidance is commonly being talked about now, but hasn't always been. And demand avoidance is when, if somebody wants you to do something, it shuts you down.
Almost like this rebellious thing.
Yes. And we used to think it was just Gen Xers. No, it's actually a symptom of autism and of ADHD and of other places. It is that tendency when someone says, well, I need you to get this done, that shuts down your prefrontal cortex. It creates conflict, which puts the body into fight or flight. And so when you're trying to meet deadlines and you respond with a demand avoidance, you get into conflict about having things completed.
I'm listening. I'm like, that is just binging in my ADD brain right now. Yeah, there's like a certain reaction. It depends on the context, depends who's asking, depends how depleted you are. If you're in alignment and then something's asked of me, if I'm in alignment, something's asked of me, I'm generally much less resistant. And I can pause and think, okay, why do they want me to do this? I have the capacity, or do I need to just say, I need a minute? If I'm in alignment first and I've meditated and I've gotten a good night's sleep and I have eaten and everything, compared to when I'm already depleted from having done too much and not having enough time, there is a shutdown. That is it's a strange shutdown for me. It's different than other shutdowns. It's this resentment comes in, or it's not of this feeling.
No, 100%. I can't believe you're asking. That's what goes through my mind. I can't believe you're asking me to do this too. And right, you will find a lot of us work for ourselves.
Right.
Yeah. So, and then let's talk about menopause and
good.
ADHD behaviors, adult ADHD.
Oh my gosh. Well, I can chime in on this one. I think we really truly get acclimated to our difficulties and either suffer, struggle through it, come up with our own ways to kind of cope. And then the drop of estrogen happens and things change, not just physically. So that's when I really started noticing, like, I'm not dealing well with my life in so many areas. And it was really, and I still didn't recognize it was all ADHD, even though I was the most willing to accept it. I'm like, okay, whatever it is, just help me make sense of it. And that it changed so much of the chemistry in my brain and my body, and the tools that I used that got me through no longer served me at all. They just didn't. And I'm kind of glad, in a way. We can get to that, but just it helped me find new ways to cope. And because I wasn't coping as well as I thought I was. And so because things started to fail, I had to find new ways.
Right. So it's important to remember that when we are living with ADHD and we have any kind of hormonal or physiological or health change, what we have been used to experiencing and doing is no longer the same.
Correct.
And if we set up all of our coping skills, better or worse, right? I mean, we become new people almost. And
Yes.
ADHDers tend to have difficulty keeping and sticking to a routine. Yes, I know that not your type of ADHD,
Right.
but my type of ADHD.
Yes.
So what I've learned is that I will have a morning routine that could be a number of things.
Yeah, you said.
And a nighttime routine that include a number of things. And I don't have to do all of them.
Wow.
Right? But I have to do some of them, and I can change it up because ADHDers don't necessarily do well with that expectation of things always being the same.
I can't relate. That's so hard for me to relate to. Isn't it funny that I'm so different? And I like that. It's helpful for people to know that it can look so many different ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that could still be part of your trauma response, or it could be that that's how you've learned to function.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But I say to people all the time, most people will say, well, I always brush my teeth. I will tell you that for ADHDers and autism, that is not necessarily a guaranteed part of a routine. And so people will say, oh, well, just do it right after you brush your teeth because you'll always do that. And
that's not a great suggestion for everyone.
Not it.
And I'm just going to share in case anyone else can relate to this. I'm such a habitual person with the foods I eat. My routine in the morning, and I don't see things. I can't multitask, and I that. You remind me all the time. I'm like, oh, that's why. But like in the morning, I have the same breakfast every morning. I just function better with my eggs and my piece of toast, and I bring a salad to lunch every single day. I don't vary. And at night, I do the same routine, and it's very narrow. I don't have a lot of options. And I wear the same clothes. I wear the same sweatshirt. I wear the same pajamas constantly. I don't have a lot of variety. And yet if I try it, I like it. I'm okay with change, which is interesting, but that's not my go-to. So it's so fascinating to me that I don't think I'm necessarily the norm. But there's no norm with this.
Well, there's not. And that's what it's good that we're talking about the extremes.
Yeah.
Because really what you've done is take all extra decisions out of the equation.
Yes. Oh, that makes me happy even in hearing that. I'm like, yes, boom, I know what to do. I know, and it's predictable.
Yeah.
And that's just soothing. And that can be a trauma thing too. And I'm in charge of this, and that's good. Yeah.
Well, and depending on the types of ADHD, and so if we talked about the categories for ADHD, right, there's hyperactivity, and we all think we know a hyperactivity. It's high physical, deep sensory seekers, people who are bouncing off the walls, but it's also fidgeters, right? I'm a fidgeter. It's touching stuff, as we've said, touching stuff, moving.
But I kind of right now, I haven't, when we record these, I'm trying to keep my hands in one place, but then I feel rigid. It's like a discharge of energy.
Yeah.
And I'm constantly picking at my fingers and pulling them down, and I am more aware of it than I used to. But yes.
Well, if I sit on my hands, I can't talk. I have to use my hands to talk. I can't because
I'm Italian. I need to
So then there is impulsivity, and that is doing things without thinking that you've done them before you've thought them through.
Oh yeah.
And then there is inattention, that inability to stay focused, and that is being easily distracted. And those are kind of the categories of what makes up ADHD, or what we call ADD, attention deficit disorder. And so you can have either, you can have both, you can have, all of the above throughout your life. Just because you present as one type now doesn't mean that doesn't sometimes change for people.
Yes, and that's my black and white thinking. I'm like, well, I wasn't, and I am. And things can be fluid because you're fluid, you're changing. Yeah, that makes sense.
And so a lot of us learn coping skills to really regulate that. And I have a couple that are my go-to, right? I would never get anything done if I didn't have the 15-minute rule. And so my 15-minute rule is I can put on my alarm and I can do anything for 15 minutes.
I do that all the time.
Yeah. Well, and so then when that alarm goes off, I might have gotten distracted. All that alarm does is remind me to either take a break and do something else, or if I lost track of what I was doing, get back onto that task. And I can achieve all sorts of things just going back and forth on my 15-minute alarm.
I use that so much with cleaning. I learned that. And so I'll set a timer for 15 minutes. But a lot of times I gamify things for me. I turn it into a game. Rarely do I clean my entire bathroom in one go. I will always Windex that mirror first. I need to do things that are the easiest things first. And so I do that. I play one round of Candy Crush, one little thing. And then I go back and I'm going to clean the sink. And then I go and I just play another. It's so like, but that helps me function. But a whole bathroom in one, oh, that's just, it's not going to get done. That's the thing. Like, oh, I think about the whole bathroom and then that whole floor or that whole window, whatever. And it's too big in my head that if I know, okay, I can do the mirror. Yeah. And then it starts the momentum, but I need to break it up and make it into a game.
Yeah. And I do the opposite. I do the hardest thing first. If I can get the hardest thing done first, then I feel like, okay, the rest of this is easy.
I don't have the motivation to get started on that hard, but if I have the momentum, then I'm like, okay, it's not that bad. It's so funny how we come up with ways.
We do.
And so different.
And when we get to menopause, some of those things that we've been doing for years and years and years don't work anymore.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. And I think I know a lot of people who haven't recognized that.
Yeah.
And I think it's just, we do this a lot where we keep trying things that aren't working, not knowing how to shift to try something new. And we just sit there and then get more and more frustrated. Like, I don't understand. This worked for me before. Instead of just looking at it honestly and directly, without meaning, without criticism or judgment, and just saying, is this working? If it's not, just get some help in one way or another, or it's just information. You just need to try something different.
Well, and there's that tendency to believe that we're broken. Oh no, there's something wrong with me. And we're just feeding that. And it's not helpful. It doesn't. So we have to remember that ADHD is a disorder of regulation, right?
Yes.
So it is all about being dysregulated to begin with. And so if you are in, the dorsal state where you're shut down and you have brain fog and you can't connect and you don't want to do anything, or you're in a sympathetic state and you're in fight or flight, an ADHD brain and body go into those states back and forth quicker because we're in a state of dysregulation a lot more easily and a lot more frequently. And we don't make dopamine in the same way. And so we're constantly seeking dopamine, right? Which is, how do I stay here and do this longer? It's for the dopamine. And so when we lack focus, right, what is it that we can do to get focus again?
Yeah. Yes. And I know we've said this a couple times. I just think we go about it backwards, where, okay, I'm going to figure out how to do this so that I feel better.
Yeah.
And it's so opposite. We need to feel better first in order to be able to solve a problem or to figure things out and do better.
But what I'll say to that is 100% correct, but mood follows action. And so you've actually got to physically just get up and do something.
But if you're stuck, you have to regulate first.
Yeah, that's 100%.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, if we feel like, okay, once I get moving and get it all done, then I'm going to feel calmer because I got it done. I won't feel so mad at myself. Versus the regulation first, we have to feel better in that way of regulate our nervous system.
Yes.
So that we can work through that.
Yes,
absolutely.
100%.
Yeah.
And for people with ADHD, regulation is so important because you cannot think your way out of it.
Correct.
If you regulate your body first, then you make space to change that thinking.
Yes.
When you regulate your body and you have changed your thinking, then you can address the environment that you're living in, right? And that's really what has to happen.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it just feels like you're getting your control back.
Yeah.
Or maybe getting it for the first time. It's so hopeful to me.
Yeah.
And so I just know so many friends who are struggling with a lot of these things, and their lives are so chaotic. And there's so many things we can do. But we've been coping one way our whole lives. It's not going to be one little regulation thing and okay, it's magically fixed. But there are so many tools that you show them every week, which is fantastic. But I have gotten more hopeful, more peaceful.
Yes.
I am so much more on time, not every time, but so much more. And it's not as much of a stressor for me to be on time, and so many other areas that have worked because of the awareness and working on regulating first. And I want that for everybody,
Well, and it's important to remember that even though we're talking about ADHD, this applies across so many different whether it's disorders or disease or just struggles, right? Like a lot of people just struggle with some things.
Yeah.
So then what do we do? What are the things? And we could go on about tips that we've learned that have worked for us.
Yeah.
But really, if we just talk about regulating the body, because it's a disorder of dysregulation.
Yeah.
If we just talk about regulating the body, we can help people get grounded in a way that then they can address the other aspects. So,
ready.
You're ready.
Yeah.
So for high sensory seekers, and we know those people.
Yeah, that's not me.
That's not you.
I know a lot of people who are. Yes.
Right, but it's important because high sensory seekers tend to get the bad rap because we see them as, doing things. They're the people who push themselves with exercise or they're bouncing off the walls or they're rough. And as kids, they may physically, rough and tumble. They may do those kind of things. So there are a couple of things. If you're a high sensory seeker, then to settle your body, you need to use heavy pressure. And so you may need a weighted blanket or those cuddle things have you seen those, the cuddle things, heavy sensation. And so there are a couple things that you can do. And one is coming into your joints, particularly in the joints, but it can be all the way down the arms and using deep pressure. Deep pressure gets the body to come back to itself, right? Using heavy tapping, right? So on your chest. I don't want to.
I know
my microphone,
but when you're saying that the joints, you're like pulling on your elbows,
but it's all the way down into the wrists. Yeah, it can be into the fingers. Use heavy pressure around your fingers and feel how that feels. It calms the nervous system behind your knees, getting into your joints, in the front of your knees, using heavy pressure gets you back into the body. Tapping or thumping with heavy pressure helps get high sensory seekers back into their body.
That makes so much sense. Yeah,
of course it does.
It's funny because this is not comforting to me.
That is not
because
comforting.
I'm not a sensory seeker. You like it?
I am. I am not a sensory seeker either.
Yeah, I know.
But I like this. Feels really good.
Yeah.
I have a massage that I had where she pushed really, really hard.
Nope.
And that starts the nervous system's calming down. So I also peed my pants a little when she did that, but it's a whole different. That's all.
That could be any day, right?
Okay. So that's really good for high sensory seekers. For people who are really struggling with being able to think their way out of a paper bag and really connect. And I know I've done these before. We do cross crawls this way.
Yep.
That you're coming from one side to the other.
One from your shoulder
to
your hip.
One shoulder to the hip and the other shoulder to the hip.
To the other hip.
And to the shoulder to the hip. And that's just running that hand down your chest.
Yeah.
And that's such a soft way. I do that constantly. Most days, you've seen me do it.
Yeah.
But a real cross crawl is something for people who really need to get that back into their body. And what you do for a cross crawl is you either stand up or you stay seated. It doesn't matter either way.
Okay.
But you're taking one hand and you're putting it on the opposite knee.
Okay.
And then the other hand and doing the opposite
your
knee.
Feet as you do it?
You can. You don't even have to.
Okay.
Right? But you have to figure out what makes sense for you. But you're moving between, you're alternating between right hand, left knee, left hand, right knee. And you're going back and forth. And you can march. You can do big figure eights when we do it. We can do any way that we're getting our body to cross, and we're crossing midline, which helps integrate right in that left hemisphere of the brain, so that we're bringing our frontal cortex back online so that we can think, we can process things, right? Because a lot of times with ADHD, it's about our ability to access that, to be able to think our way through what is causing us.
Yeah.
Just,
and it makes you feel, and then it's getting the message there that you're safe.
Yeah.
I'm safe, I'm safe, I'm safe. The amygdala can chill out a little bit.
Yes.
And then you can start to make some changes and have some ideas. Ideas start to come to you when you're regulated and you feel safe. Then you can think, oh, maybe this will work instead. And that's why doing this first is so much easier than trying to make the change without getting that regulated first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. I like that one too.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
So then there's one other that I use a lot, and that is putting your finger in your belly button.
Okay.
Or if you don't want to put your finger in, just put your hand over the belly button.
Okay.
And then one at your third eye. And
Third eye, right? Above, like in between the eyebrows.
In between the eyebrows.
A
And
bit
so
above, right?
it doesn't have to be very high. Just find that space that feels good to you.
Mm-hmm.
And this is an Eden energy medicine, it's called a hookup. And it helps ground you, and it helps get you right back into your body. And so take a breath and lift.
Mm-hmm.
And exhale. And do it again. And exhale. And one more time. And so this hookup, right? If I'm feeling vertigo, if I'm feeling dizzy, if I'm feeling disconnected, if I'm feeling, this is a great tool for that. And what I find is when I can't focus, this is a great one for that. And it's called a hookup. So that's, it's a very easy one.
Yeah.
Right.
That is easy.
Right. So those are some of the things that we can do to regulate ourselves. But let's talk about some just general other things you can do to help support ADHD. First thing is be okay with who you are.
Gentle.
Be
grace. The word grace.
Grace.
Like noticing. I always am going back to the mindfulness of noticing without judgment. Yeah. The more I practice mindfulness and meditation, the easier it has become to be kind to myself and to notice without judgment. Oh, and then that phrase after of, isn't that interesting? So, oh, wow. It's difficult for me to be on time. Isn't that interesting? It's difficult for me right now to think straight. Isn't that interesting? Well, that makes sense. Okay. What do I need right now to feel safe? Yeah. So just that alone of having the awareness and noticing without judgment, the struggle, I feel like is the first place to start. That has helped me so much. Yeah. I love that.
I agree 100%, right? Anything to just begin to recognize that yourself as a human this is the way I'm built.
Right.
This is just how I am. This isn't a deficit. It's not this is a problem. It's just how I am. And so let me deal with this, right?
Yeah.
So what else? What other?
Oh my gosh, I'm trying to think of so many things that I do to, lists are my best friend. Making lists and kind of anticipating, really paying attention as I go, like, okay, I'm going to be so busy this week. Things might be a little bit tougher for me. Where can I be gentle? Where can I be less depleted? Where can I cut out some of the requirements of my week? So anticipating helps me.
Yes, right. Anticipating what may or may not go wrong, or what needs to be different for this to be successful.
Yeah.
Right. It's that idea of always setting yourself up for success. For example, I stopped doing New Year's resolutions a long time ago. And that I couldn't succeed, right? I'm not gonna make a resolution to lose all the weight and do all the exercise and do all the, whatever. I'm gonna throw away every pen that I pick up. And that was my New Year's resolution. That was the first time I really shifted it for myself.
Yeah.
So every time I wrote with a pen that didn't write, instead of putting it back, I threw it away. And that was the first year I met my New Year's resolution and I felt good about it.
Wow.
And then I realized I set myself up for success.
I love that.
And then when you feel good about yourself, you do better. And so I started creating things that would, and so that one is much less frustrating in my life, right?
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't frustrated because I was getting that same pin that I forgot to put in the damn trash can.
That is so fun. And some people may not even be able to relate to this. Some people who don't have that, they're like, what? Of course you throw it out. No, not all of us.
No, we put it back in my purse or put it back in the...
And that, you could be successful with that. And it's just starting small.
It is.
And I'm going to say something that has helped so much is having a friend like April Boykin. Because it is, how many times just talking to you and normalizing the things when I say something and you either name it or you just say, oh yeah, me too. Oh my gosh. Even though we have such differences in its presentation, it is so comforting to just talk about it and find your people. Yeah. Amazing, And so, not that everybody can be your friend, because that would make you like leave the country.
The introvert in me is a little afraid.
But yeah, that helps too, is really finding your people, finding support. And also, I honestly have started to resource out the things that are difficult for me. Is that right?
Yes.
resource out.
Yeah.
I love it. I have such amazing friends who are good at all different things.
Yes.
And like flat surfaces in my place are not my friend. And I have some friends who are so good at organizing and coming over. Or like when I was moving, I had a friend who was so good at setting up. If I had boxes and I have empty cabinets, some people that's a dream. For me, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go play my guitar. And she came over and said, oh, this makes sense. Why don't we put it here? Because, I'm like, thank you, bless you, and so that has made a difference instead of the procrastination or the overwhelm and binging from one activity to the other.
100%.
Who in my life is really good at this?
Yeah.
Ask for help. That has helped me a ton.
Ask for help.
Yes.
And ask for it without shame, because that's what happens for so many of us, is we feel so much shame in saying, my house is a mess right now.
This needs to be a whole other episode. I just realized we don't have an episode yet on shame.
We do an episode on shame.
Sorry, yeah. My little ADD moment. But shame.
No,
But yes, there's a lot of shame that we carry about, I'm so bad at this, instead of it really takes the power away.
Yeah, it does.
Yes, so much. And I'm also going to share that about a year ago, I started taking medication.
Yeah.
I never in my life. And all of a sudden, I'm like, why don't I just try it and see? Oh, my Lord. I can't believe how much things have quieted. It's not for everybody, and it's okay. But I can't believe, especially like at work. And then I'm like, I don't need it on the weekends. I'm not working. And then all of a sudden, that's when I notice how much it does work. Because, I'm still on the couch. Why? I need to do all these things. And then if I take it on the weekend, I'm so productive. Yeah, I'm so productive. So for me, that has been a beautiful addition. But I was working on the regulation piece way before that. And I don't think that wouldn't be the be-all, end-all solution for me. I need the regulation tools as well. Yeah. But I'm glad that I decided to start that.
Well, and medication without regulation is just medication. And so it really is all the pieces together.
Yeah.
And just, again, recognizing that you may set up a routine, and then that routine may change, and that's okay.
And that's okay.
And that's okay.
Yes.
And so whatever you do, right, whatever you try to do to help support yourself, try it. If it works, great.
Right.
And if it doesn't work, move on to something else.
Just more information. Okay.
And if it stops working, move on to something else, right? You're never going to get one fix and it's going to last forever. It's not going to happen with ADHD.
And I think that's a really important thing to remember. And a lot of times we don't acknowledge this isn't working. We say, okay, I'm going to keep trying this, and it keeps failing.
It used to work.
Yes, it used to work. But I think that, that's a beautiful piece to remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So I think we've moved through this.
Yeah.
I know what time it is. Okay.
Your favorite time.
My favorite time.
I'm starting to get really hooked on like your reactions or lack of to the jokes. Okay, ready? Okay. And now I'm going to prep you because this didn't go that well the last time when I did not tell you what I'm about to launch into is a part of the joke.
I got you.
So I'm letting you know. So, I've been shopping lately, and I really wanted to find a pair of camouflage pants, but I couldn't see any. I even said it wrong. I was supposed to say I couldn't find them. That wouldn't have helped at all.
I got you.
I know. It's all right. I'm not going to apologize.
No need to. That was perfect.
Oh, Lord.
Thank you. I grew up in a family full of hunters and military people. So camouflage, jokes, run.
Oh, Steve. Okay.
Yeah. Right. No, I'm good. I got it.
Yay. Thank you for this episode. I love talking about this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Me too. You too. Thanks.